Congratulations, Nintendo of America! You just failed! Hard! Yep, seems like this is it again, folks. Remember 4 years ago when the entire list of Pokemon English names for Generation 4 was leaked? It happened again! Yep, happened again today. And the thing that makes this list look very credible is the fact that later on in the day, IGN posted a list of 8 of these Pokemon, and every single one matched! Oh wow, freeze hacks! Well, that was a good time to get freeze hacks, because Raichu posed a huge threat to both Vaporeon and Togetic, so I'm going to take that, thank you very much. But, yeah, they all matched, which means it's very likely that we know all of the Generation 5 English names for the Pokemon, except for the events. I don't know why they aren't on the list, but that's how it is. Besides, I wouldn't expect them to change that much, because legendaries usually don't change names. So far, there's only one that we know of that has changed names. It's a Boltros. I don't remember what its English name is off the top of my head, and I'm sorry, but you're probably going to have to deal with me saying the Japanese names for a little while longer, because like it or not, 153 English names, though you can subtract the dozen or so we already knew, that's still 140. No thanks, I'm not gonna take last resort. This move freaking sucks, and if I need to explain why, get off my internet! Nah, just kidding. But, yeah. So, basically, as usual, whenever there's a new name announced, the usual reaction ranges between tepig and, downright horrid. And this is no exception. But I don't see a big deal! Once again, I'm trying to be objective here. Sure, there are a few names that are really, really bad. Nageki and Dageki are the big losers here. Throw and, what was the other one already? I don't remember. As I said, it's gonna take a while to get used to 140 names at the same time. But, yeah, those two are the big losers. Shikijika, which becomes Deerling, is also fairly crappy. But other than that, I can't really complain. Well, Gigir and Gigigear become Clank and Clink Clank, or... No, it's Clang and Clink Clank. Sorry for that. But, yeah, other than that, it's still an improvement over Gigir and Gigigear. Not a very huge improvement, but I like it a lot better. But, yeah, there aren't that many really horrid names. So, for that, I would say that, objectively speaking, the quality is at least on par with Generations 2, 3, and 4. So, yeah, for those of you who are whining, give it 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. And you're gonna get used to those names, and you're not gonna mind them at all. Hey, it's what happened with Generation 2, Generation 3, and Generation 4 as well. Everyone thought Chatot was the end of the world, but apparently we survived the end of the world. And yeah, is there anything I wanted to say on the matter? Oh yeah, actually. I would... oh god. Thunderwave. Actually, really? A random trainer actually playing smart? Well, okay. It's alright, they don't get to attack usually anyway. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Not the dreaded para-flinch combo. Okay, at least I managed to land this water gun, thank god. But, yeah, Nintendo of America. After what happened 4 years ago, you'd think they'd get their shit straight, but no. Last time, the names got leaked just over a month early. This time, it's just under 2 months. So they failed to keep the names under wraps even as long as last time. So, yeah, as I said, you done fucked up, Nintendo of America. Oh yeah, the TM for Shadow Ball. Excuse me while I use this thing RFN right fucking now. That's what my brother says anyway. I don't know if Anglophones say this, but that's what my brother says. RFN for right fucking now. So yeah, I'm using it on Vaporeon. I'm gonna erase Bite. Reason for Shadow Ball is because I want to be able to hit water types with something. Of course, it could be better. I could be using Borincaru instead, but still, Shadow Ball is still gonna do a lot better than even Surf would and Ice Beam as well. So there we go. That's why I wanted to give it the Shadow Ball. And yes, I just mentioned Borincaru. That's probably one of the first names I'm going to try and memorize. I'm probably going to memorize the overused Pokemon first, like Borincaru, Nattorei, Doryuzu. Actually, I remember Doryuzu already. It's Excadrill. Not a bad name. Could have been better. But seriously, AAA names have always been very few and far between. Pokemon names are usually a fusion of two words, fairly simple. And you know what I find really funny? Remember how the fan name for Tepig was Pignite back before we knew their English names? Well, Pignite turned out to be Chowboo's English name, so why am I not surprised? Actually, as I've mentioned before, the fan name for Nattorei was Turtwig, and it turned out to be Turtwig. So I guess fans have some power of guesswork, I guess, though usually starters don't really have the best names, so it's fairly easy to predict that it's going to be a fusion of two words like, you know, Turtwig or Pignite. Now remember, this is all assuming that the list is accurate, but it probably is because, as I said earlier, there was some information that was verified after the list was leaked, and it all matched. So all we need now is an official confirmation, which may or may not come in the fact that, as usual, Nintendo have been complete Nazis when it comes to try to covering up information about the game. Remember how Cerebi couldn't post pictures of the game for, September and most of October? Well, I don't understand why they would want to prevent their own product from being promoted in that way, but hey, it's free promotion and they're turning it down. They did it in Japan and they're doing it again because they're forcing sites that publish the leak to back the fuck off. Now, remember, I saved the list on a text file on my computer, and obviously so did lots of others, so there's no way this is just gonna go quietly into the night. No. People are gonna remember those names, and oh yeah, Nattorei is Terrathorn, by the way, I just remember. I hope that's the case anyway, at least it makes sense, but yeah, once again, they're being complete Nazis about the whole thing. But I guess eventually the truth is going to come out. Maybe. Remember what happened last time when the leak happened on GameFAQs, and a few hours later, Cerebi confirmed on his site that the whole thing was true. It might happen again. But if it happens, it's probably not going to be until tomorrow, because as I'm doing this, we're pretty close to midnight in the UK, which is where Cerebi is, so he's probably asleep right around now. He's gonna have a nasty surprise when he wakes up tomorrow. But, yeah, of course, that depends on whether or not he's even allowed to confirm that the list is true. Given the change of attitudes on Nintendo's part between generations 4 and 5, I wouldn't be surprised if Cerebi tried to keep us in the dark, and then maybe he'd be allowed to post them 2 at a time like he did for a while before the American release for Diamond and Pearl, and then if he does that again, the only kind of reception he's going to have is, "Oh, really? We already knew that?" And yeah, now I'm just rambling on and on about the whole thing, but seriously, it's still major enough that it at least deserves to be mentioned during 10 minutes during my LP, because this is actually a fairly big deal. That kind of thing only happens once every 4 years. And before we move on, I just want to repeat again, because it's really important as well as true. Give the names 2 weeks and they will already have grown on you, son. Oh, and yeah, Shibirudon, Electros. I'm pretty good. I'm starting to remember some of the names by heart, even, and not for the bad reasons like I did with Nageki and Dageki. Actually, I couldn't even remember Dageki's name, but regardless. Moving right along. Look at my Togetix level. Well, you can't do that right now. Okay, now you can. Level 50. Now, feel free to point and laugh at me, because one of my excuses for not using Garchomp was that it evolved too late, at level 48. Togetix at level 50, and it hasn't evolved yet either. And it probably won't for a while, because I'm going to get Surf soon, and then I'm going to go all across the world, all over again, just to find places where I can use Surf. And once that's done, I'm going to go to that huge stretch of land that's just south of Sanjin Town, and after that I'm going to head to Canalave, and after that I'm going to go to Iron Island. So it's going to take quite a while before Togetic evolves. So yeah, my whole excuse for not using Garchomp has sort of been debunked. Well, not the whole excuse, because there are still two other reasons why I didn't want to use Garchomp. I already have a ground type on my team, which is Torterra, and I'm going to get a much better dragon as well, which is, of course, Giratina. And there's also the fact that Garchomp is not... A Garchomp without Earthquake isn't worth being called a Garchomp. And the fact is that I want to keep my Earthquake TM for Giratina, since Garchomp doesn't even learn it naturally. So I would have ended up with a Garchomp without Earthquake, which, as I said, is not entirely worth it. So there you go. That's why I still don't regret not using Garchomp instead of something else. And although I will admit that I never expected Togetic to reach level 50 and still be a Togetic. That is my honest view on things. I thought it might be like level 45 when evolving, but the Torterra solo run part dragged on for so long that it almost reached level 50, and it's even level 50 now, and Vaporeon and Togetic caught up pretty quick, thanks to that guy with the massive ice weakness all the way back on Route 214. And it seems like, are we done with this route? Looks like it. There's nothing there, so yeah, I guess we're in Celestic Town now, which is the hometown of you-know-who, which makes me wonder, why the hell does she want me to come here when she can do it herself? It's her home, after all. And this guy here, yeah, I remember this guy, he gives you a great ball every day if your lead has a high enough happiness. Hey, free great ball, not complaining. That's $600 you won't have to spend. Too bad the great balls are essentially useless. You want cheap but effective balls? Use Pokeballs. You want something with a high catch rate all the time? Use Ultras. You want something at night? You just have to use Dusk Balls. So great balls are really overshadowed because they're the in-between between Pokeballs and Ultra Balls, but in terms of cost-effectiveness and usefulness, they're just not as good. And oh yeah, Team Galactic is in town, and we're gonna deal with them later. Because first, we're going to have to explore the rest of the town, and after that I'm debating whether or not to do a Route 211 East, and then head into Mount Corona to see, the part that I couldn't get to all those videos ago before I fought Gardenia. And, okay, he's going to give me a Poketshop Analog Wash. Personally, I like the digital one better, but that's just me. So, that's it for today. Hopefully it's going to be true this time, and next time, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have decided by then.